Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to release that little outside part of your knee, especially after post-op ACL or any kind of meniscus or knee surgeries. Sometimes we can get a little bit of tightness on the lateral side or just the outside corner of the knee here. And when we go into a deep knee bend or we squat, it gets a little pinchy. Some of that could be contributing from the hip, could be from the calf, but we're going to release this. We're going to change the input. And then I'm going to show you how to kind of stretch and mobilize that posterior lateral corner. So if we check and we do a deep knee bend, if that feels pretty good, good. We're on the right track. We're okay there. Then if we move down to kind of a tall kneel rocking, that might contribute to some of the pinchiness, but we're also stretching a lot of the tissues on the outside of the leg. You can see I'm turning the leg in, I'm putting stretch on the outer calf, lateral knee, as well as the lateral hip. So we need to go poking around in there. If there's just a local spot right behind the knee, you can stick your thumb, find the ouchie spot, and just sit on that and see if that releases. You can rock back and forth. And if that relieves your pressure, this is the treatment, okay? If you release that and it still kind of lingers around, we might have a little bit of tightness above and below. So this is where we're gonna do a little pinning and moving. For the lateral or outside calf muscle, the gastroc, you can cross the legs over if that's an option. You can also put one leg on top of the other for a little bit more pressure, okay? And then you're just going to up and down. Rolling up and down is okay, but I find pinning and moving is much more effective because then I can use active muscles to inhibit and relax those tight tissues. So we're gonna take about 10, 15 swipes. I'm gonna prop up here a little bit, move it up and down. And then from there, I'm gonna move up into that little TFL muscle, that front hip muscle here. Same thing, I'm gonna roll a little bit forward and I'm just gonna do some lifts, okay? 10, 15, roll around, see if it goes away. Go back, check your work. You're like, feels less pinchy, but maybe a little bit tight. Great. So we changed the input by adding some manual therapy. Now we're gonna change the output. So you're gonna sit nice and tall. You're going to pull your toes up towards your nose. You're gonna turn your toes in, arms up, and give a little reach forward, okay? From here, 5 deep breaths. And you'll notice I sink into it on the exhale because when we exhale, it actually encourages spinal flexion. So we're gonna increase the mobility on the backside, but then we're going to add a rotation. So come on up tall, rotate through the spine, and now you can see it winds me up a little bit here. But I'm just gonna breathe into the tight spots. Come on back up, okay? Shake it out if you have to. Turn those toes in, point them up towards your nose. So I'm not just focusing on the reach, I'm actually really trying to use my scap muscles back here to induce some rotation to open that up. We've got the spiral lines that come across the body and they hook into the hips. But if we're really wound up here, we're gonna feel it potentially down into here or vice versa. So it's important that we create some rotation, especially through the rib cage. But the best way to do that is active movement with breathing and breathing into those tight zones. Okay, so now we freed up some of the lines on the outer hips and across the ribs. We can go back, check our work. See, you're like, oh, that feels better, okay? Now, it's important that we add some strength because when we add resistance and we strengthen the areas that we just released and the areas that we just moved into, we have to hit the save button by creating strength around that so our body and our nervous system hangs on to it. So, we're gonna go simple side plank, up. Make sure you can feel back glute, not front hip. If you roll forward, feel front hip, wrong muscle. We're going back into that TFL. Prop those hips forward, lock the glutes, ribs are down, okay? We're gonna clam here, so we're inducing some abduction, external rotation, but then I'm going to reach underneath to the point of resistance, and I don't want you to flex into that hip. Really keep that glute locked on, and we're forcing that rotation In through the rib cage. And come on back. Of course, you can do both sides because we did do rotation on both ways, but check to see how your mobility freed up. Check to see if that pinchiness is still there. This is a great little combo. You know, most of us, we don't rotate enough, or at least work on flexibility and strength through that transverse plane, through that rotation plane. So it's important that we move not just forwards, backwards, side to side, but also rotation. If you have any questions, message me. I hope this frees up your knees, your hips, your T-spine, and everyone has a great day.